Y'all, we're making lemon bars. Come on. Welcome to Highfalutin Low Carb, the random web series where we find and test the best low carb recipes this crazy internet has to offer. Today, we're going to be tackling low carb lemon bars. Stay tuned. All right, guys, keto lemon bars. Can it be done? Today, we're going to find out by testing two of the most popular recipes I could find online. Now, if you've been anywhere in a store or a restaurant lately, you know that everything is starting to lean towards pumpkin spice flavor. It is Labor Day weekend right now in the United States, and so it sort of feels like the last hurrah of summer before school starts and everybody starts wearing sweaters and drinking pumpkin spice everything. But I want to make one last ditch effort to use this beautiful late summer citrus and make keto lemon bars. So the first recipe we're going to make is keto lemon bars, and this is by the website heyketomama.com. And the second recipe is the best keto lemon bars, and this is by maybells.com. Now be sure to check out the links down below here on the screen and in the video description below and in the pinned comment below. So let's get started on our very first recipe, all right? All right, so we're going to start on our first recipe here, and this is for the keto lemon bars by Hey Keto Mama. And we're going to start by making our crust here and then putting this in a parchment lined 8x8 baking dish, and then we're going to pre-bake that before we put our filling in. So we're going to start with some almond flour, which I imagine you kind of saw coming. Now, she doesn't call for sifting this, but you know me, sift, guys. This I leave mine in the freezer, and it tends to get clumpy. So to that, we're going to add some erythritol sweetener and a little pinch of salt. So I'm just going to throw just a bit in there, not much. And let's just sift this out just to make sure we get all the lumps and bumps out before we throw in our butter. Now, if you've been here any length of time, you know that I do not give exact measurements for these recipes. These are not my recipes. I'm just here to test these recipes. The people that did develop these, they deserve the traffic. So I always point you to their website. It's going to be here on the screen right down below. It's in the video description below where you can click directly on it, and it's in the first pinned comment. So if you don't see exact measurements, that's why. Most of my regulars here know that, but if you're new here, we got a lot of new faces, welcome aboard, all right? So that's how we handle things here. So now that this is sifted out, get out of the way, we're just gonna add in some melted butter, and I'm just gonna stir this up just a bit because it's been melted for a little while. So make sure you get it all out of there. When you melt things like this, it's imperative to use, I think, important to use spatulas to get all of the ingredients out of your measuring utensils. Otherwise, you're leaving some of that behind, and it could affect the recipe. I'm not saying it will, but it can. All right. And it's much more liquidy than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be a little bit thinner than that. I mean, a little bit thicker than that, but apparently not. So we're going to put this in our parchment lined baking sheet. Again, I thought this would be a little bit thicker, this base, the dough for the crust, but it's not. And I'm going to use a little offset spatula to thin this out. Okay, so spread this out in the bottom of this little dish. It's an 8x8 inch. Get it as evenly as possible. Fighting with parchment paper can be difficult sometimes, but sometimes that's the only way to get it out of a pan. Okay, this is going to go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes until this is kind of lightly browned and crusty, and we'll be right back here to let this cool and make our filling. So I'll see you in just a bit. All right, guys, so we are back, and this has baked, actually, instead of for 10 minutes, I baked this for 15 because it still is jiggly, right? And I was concerned that I had maybe messed something up because the batter for the crust looked so liquidy when it went in. And I checked the comments, and other people said Trust it. Yes, it comes out liquidy, but it works well, especially after refrigerating. So that's what we've done. This is going to cool on the back for 10 minutes while we make our filling. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we are going to make our filling now, and we're ready to do that. And we're going to start by zesting a lemon, and these are pretty large lemons, so I hope they're okay. I like to roll them a little bit just to get the juices flowing. So we're going to use 3 lemons, the juice of 3 lemons and the zest of 1 lemon. So this is my handy dandy microplane grater. As you know, I love this thing. If you've seen my video about my favorite things, it's my favorite kitchen gadgets. I'll leave a link to it up here in case you haven't seen it. This is one of my favorites. It lets you get a lot of flavor out of citrus without the sugar and the juice that has all the carbs. Most of the flavor is in the peeling right here. Just make sure you're using unwaxed fruit and that you've washed it well. So lemon bars, I have a sort of a love-hate relationship with lemon bars. When I was a little fella, like 6 or 7, we were at a family reunion type situation at like a distant relative's house. This wasn't even like my, a regular relative that I was used to seeing. Anyway, I had one of the lemon bars. Somebody had brought lemon bars, right, in a 9x13 baking dish. And I had one and loved it. And I distinctly remember while all the adults were in the living room talking and carrying on and dinner was over, I went and took that entire pan of lemon bars and I went into their bedroom, the master bedroom, and ate the entire pan of lemon bars, and I threw up for the rest of the day. And everybody's like, wonder why Wesley is so sick. And then I noticed like that I saw my aunt walk by and she was like, wow, somebody really liked those lemon bars. They're all gone. It was me. So I haven't eaten a lot of lemon bars in my adult life and growing up because I remember getting sick from it as a kid. But yeah, that's my lemon bar story. So, all right, we have zested our lemon here. I would probably have zested all 3 lemons, but we're following the recipe exactly as written, right? That's what we do here. So now we are also going to juice these 3 lemons, and I'm going to juice them separately so I can strain out the seeds. So I'm just going to go ahead and juice these 3 lemons. Okay, so now we've got the juice of 3 lemons here, and I wish I knew how much that was. This is where you just sort of have to guess, because if most recipes I would prefer, especially if lemon juice is the most important thing in the recipe, instead of saying the juice of 3 medium lemons, say the juice of 3 medium lemons, or about a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup. I feel like these are probably larger than a medium, so maybe I don't use all of this, but we're just going to strain out any seeds. And I'm not going to use quite all of it because, like I said, I feel like these were larger than medium. But when you don't have, when you're not given an alternative measurement, you really can only do what you can do, right? So let's get this out of the way. All right, so now we've got our lemons and our lemon zest, and now we're going to add in some eggs, because basically a lemon bar is right like a lemon custard sitting on top of a shortbread crust. That's typically what I think most of us know as a lemon bar. And I wish I had used a little bit larger bowl than this because it's kind of running out of space here. And then we're going to add to this some powdered confectioner's erythritol. This helps it not be grainy. Instead of the granulated, the powdered dissolves better. And we're going to add a little bit of almond flour to this. So I'm again going to sift it just to make sure I'm getting it all out of there. All these lumps out of here. See there? What you going to do with all that? You'd hit that one of those lumps in that lemon bar and it'd be like, what is this? All right, so let's stir this together to make our filling. And that sure seems liquidy, guys. Wow, does that seem ever so liquidy. I mean, I followed the recipe exactly. I even held back on some of the juice. So let's see what we can do. Let me get our baked shell, our baked crust. Okay, the pan is still a little warm, but it has cooled for 10 minutes. And the crust is still kind of soft, but I guess this is where it becomes gelatinous after it's been in the fridge for a while. So, gosh, I do feel like this is just way too much liquid, but those eggs are going to do their job too. We got to remember that some of that's eggs, so that'll create a custard. So I'm just going to pour this over, right? Hope it doesn't seep down underneath that crust too much. And then in the oven this goes for 25 minutes at 350, and then we're going to get set up for our second recipe. All this has got to cool, so we're going to not be tasting them for a few hours, but I'll meet you right back here to test our second recipe. All right, see you in just a bit. All right, guys, we're ready for our second recipe. The first recipe did firm up a little bit more than I thought it would. It's on the back chilling, cooling down before it goes in the fridge. Again, all of these have to refrigerate, both of these recipes, for a couple of hours before we can cut them. But before we start the second recipe, I need to give a huge thank you to Perfect Keto for sponsoring this video. Perfect Keto is one of the most respected manufacturers of keto foods and products on the market today. You guys know that I absolutely adore their whey protein powder, the unflavored especially, or any of the flavored. This makes a wonderful substitute for wheat flour in keto and low carb baked goods. It lends a really delicate, fluffy, light texture like wheat flour to those baked goods. And in addition to this, you guys know I love their collagen. I've talked about that before. I really love their keto nut butters. This is one of my new favorites, the almond butter and jelly. These are delicious for a quick snack, but it's got a healthy MCT oil in it. Fantastic ingredients. All of their products are top notch, and you guys know that they've been very generous to me. So they're being very generous to you right now because it's Labor Day. They're having a huge sale. Now is the time to stock up. It's about to be baking season, right? With the holidays coming. Right now, you don't need a code, but you do need to use the link here on the screen or down below. From September 4th, 2020 through September 9th, that's Wednesday night, 2020, you can get fantastic discounts on any product on the Perfect Keto website. It's 15% off of 2 items. 3 items, you get 20% off. 4 items, you get 25% off. And if you buy 5 or more items, you get 35% off the entire order. So that's one of their best discounts they will ever offer. So now is the time to stock up on collagen, whey, and any of the other products that you may want to try. Their keto bars and cookies are also fantastic. So thank you so much, Perfect Keto, for sponsoring this video. It's sponsorships like yours that keep channels like mine on the air, and I really appreciate your support. So if you guys want to support me, go support them. Use the link here on the screen to get the discounts I've listed down below. Just put the products in your cart and it will automatically apply the discount. If you're watching this after September 9th, 2020, then you can always use my code Highfalutin15 to get 15% off of one product. But right now is the time to stock up. So, all right, let's get started on our second recipe. All right, guys, so let's get started on this second recipe. This is the Best Keto Lemon Bars by Maybells.com. As you know, all the links are going to be down here on the screen if you want exact measurements. So this recipe, we start with the filling first. It needs to be made first so that it can chill in the fridge while our crust pre-bakes. So in a blender or food processor, we're just going to throw in all the ingredients for this recipe. And the first of those now we're going to start with, again, zesting lemons, and we zest 2 lemons. So let's get started on that again with the microplane grater. And she actually gives us measurements for the juice as well. We're going to juice both of these lemons, but she says, quote, about 1/3 cup of fresh lemon juice. So let's just get this zested and juiced. All right, so we've got our lemon zest and our lemon juice in there, and she gave us a measurement. She said about 1/3 cup, so I was able to pour that off without needing to do too much to that. We're also going to add in here some eggs, some whole eggs, Again, this is the custard part of lemon bars. And this is a little bit of confectioner's erythritol. You'll notice actually that my, look at that smoke. You'll notice actually that my blender had a little bit of residue around it. That's because I ran out of confectioner's sweetener, so I just used granular and ran it through the food process, through the blender. That's one easy way to do it. You don't have to necessarily buy both. If you've got a good blender, you should be able to blend that out. And then also we're going to add in, this is coconut flour, a little bit different than the other recipe, which was almond flour. This is coconut flour, and there's really no need to sift this because there's so little of it. And this is about to just blow it up here with this blender. So we've got all our ingredients in, and now we are just going to set this to work. Okay, so I'm going to take out, this is what I love about this Ninja blender. You can get this blade out and it's not stuck in the bottom, preventing you from getting all your ingredients out. So let me get out of the way here. You better be careful, that will cut your leg off. So this is going to go in the fridge. I'm just going to knock it down so that it can all kind of chill together and none of it dries and sticks on the side. So this is going in the fridge, and we'll be back to do our crust. All right, so that's chilling, and now we're going to get started with our crust. And so this is pretty easy. This starts with almond flour, just like our other crust did. We kind of saw that coming. There's not a whole lot of options there. A little bit of granulated erythritol, and not much. And again, I'm gonna sift this out just because I keep mine in the freezer. Okay, so we've got our sweetener and our flour combined, and now we're just gonna stir in a little bit of melted butter and make a crust that we're gonna press into this 8x8 baking pan and a baking dish. And she specifically said you could use parchment lined or foil lined, and just out of sheer curiosity's sake, I'm going to do it with foil and just compare how it sticks or what have you compared to the parchment paper. But just curious how it works out. So I am going to just hit this lightly with some avocado oil spray. It's flavorless, but I just don't want any surprises. After all this work, to lose it would stink. So let's get all of this in. And this is only going to bake for about 7 minutes, she said. And now let's spread this out as best we can. It's just going to be a thin layer. All right, guys, so our crust is ready to go in the oven. This is going to go in at 350 for about 7 minutes. I'm going to let that cool, and then I'm just going to simply take that mixture, the filling mixture in the blender, pour it over it, spread it out, and bake it, and it's going in for 18 to 20 minutes. And then all of this is going to cool on the countertop until it's room temperature, and then it's going in the fridge for at least a couple of hours. That's the best way to do this. So you won't see me here until all of that's been said and done, and we've got both of these recipes to test. So I will meet you right back here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, and we are back. It is actually the next morning, actually the next midday. These have been refrigerating for quite a while, which is honestly the way you want to serve these. But they turned out beautifully. As you can see, they are both set really well. We tested one with parchment paper and one with aluminum foil just to see how they might turn out, but they look solid and gorgeous. So we're going to take them out and see what we can come up with. Now, before we begin, let's talk about nutrition, okay? So this is the first recipe that we made, and this is Keto Lemon Bars by HeyKetoMama.com. And this makes 8 servings, so you would divide that into 8 servings. And for one serving, one bar, you're gonna have 272 calories, about 26 grams of fat, 8 grams of protein, and 4 grams of net carbs. All right, so for the second recipe, this is the best keto lemon bars, and this is by maybells.com. And this actually makes 9 servings, so you'd get 9 bars out of this. For 1 bar, you'd have 221 calories, 20 grams of total fat. You've got protein is 6.5 grams. You've got 5 grams of carbs, 2.6 grams of fiber. So this is 2.4 grams of net carbs per bar. So this is 4 net carbs, about 2.5, we'll say, net carbs. So let's see what they taste like. That's the most important part. And this is gonna be the precarious part. Honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and take them out of this, lift them out with our parchment paper, and this may have set pretty hard, truthfully, overnight, and may be difficult to get out of here, and you don't wanna break them up too much. Come out, wherever you are. All right, and let's just set him on the board. We didn't leave too much behind. And this is where, honestly, if you had, oh, that looks nice. If you had some unflavored dental floss or some string, that's an easy way to get a nice clean cut. All I have is mint waxed floss, so we're gonna use a knife today. And then this is our second recipe. It came out whole, obviously, with a clean. And this was with the aluminum foil, but I'm curious if it stuck to the foil. I did spray this. I didn't spray the parchment because you generally don't need to, but yeah, that looks nice. I mean, let's face it, both of these had a half a cup of butter in the crust, so they should be fine. All right, so let's get us a serving of each of these. Let's start here, and if you were gonna make 8 bars, we would actually come in here and cut this 4 times. So you'd be 1, ooh, that crust is thick and beautiful. Come on, buddy. Come on, let go. And you're gonna get some cracking. We don't want that, but it's inevitable. Both of these optionally said serve it with some sprinkled confectioner's erythritol on top. And if I were serving this to public or to family or whatever, I probably would. But for today's testing, I think it's important just to see what the lemon curd tastes like. Generally erythritol can add, a cloying bite. So I don't want that to interfere with what we're tasting here today. So we'll just do that, and you can decide if you want to do that or not. So here we're going to make roughly 9 servings. This has a rounded edge, so it's a little bit more difficult to portion exactly. So let's taste our first one. This is Hey Keto Mama. Come off there. And let's put it right here. And then our second one, we're going to take this guy here. This is maybells.com. And they both released pretty well. I mean, good Lord, Wesley, please don't throw that on the floor. Look at that. Looks pretty good. Okay, so our first one, I thought I'd need a fork, but I'm not. This is, let's look at the layers of it. It is about 1/3 crust and 2/3 custard. Hide my big fat head. So let's try this. This looks a lot like the ones that I got sick off of 40 something years ago. Ooh, that's lemony and good. Oh, it makes your cheeks pucker. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. The confectioners, powdered confectioners, makes it taste smooth. It doesn't taste grainy. The crust is perfectly browned and buttered. That's good. That's hard to believe that's 1 serving. Hold on. Okay. Hey Keto Mama, that was good. This is the one that's made completely with almond flour. The other one is the one that has our coconut flour. So let's try that. This is the Maybells, the best keto lemon bars by maybells.com. And it looks really good too. It is a little bit thinner and seems to be more crust If you can see that, it's about 2/3 crust and about 1/3 filling. The bottom looks really good. Again, sprinkled with some confectioner sugar, this would be beautiful. But let's see what, that's one serving. That's really good. Okay. Whoa, that's good. I hate to say it, this is a straight up tie. I mean, they're very similar. This had less zest, but more juice. This had more zest, but less juice, but it kind of is a wash. I really like the thicker crust on this one, but it's also was in a slightly smaller pan, so that may have affected that. Hold on. Y'all, these are so good. Y'all, those are both amazing. And I know I say that on a lot of battle videos. Some of them, one or two of the options don't work out, but both of these are fantastic. I would probably say that if I were going to make these, the one with 2.4 net carbs is a little easier to deal with than 4 net carbs. And the helpful part of that is the coconut flour, right? Coconut flour is a lot less carbs than almond flour, so that's why there's less carbs in that and a little bit less lemon juice. But oh my gosh, both of these are good. So there you have it, folks. Low carb lemon bars. Can it be done? You better believe it. Try one of these. Just go find one. Go try one. Go get some lemons from the store right now and go make one of these and put these up. Apparently they're going to last in the fridge for up to a week. And I can freeze these as well on a baking sheet and then just throw them in a Ziploc bag in the freezer and just thaw them out as I needed to, because holy smokes, these are so good. Thank you guys for coming along. I really appreciate that you've come along for the journey. I say it every time, these videos are a way for me to maintain my low carb way of eating. And looking into that camera as often as I can helps keep me honest. So thank you for that. I also want to thank again my sponsor, Perfect Keto, for sponsoring this video. It's sponsorships like yours that keep channels like mine on the air. So guys, please go support them. Right now is the time to stock up. Through Labor Day, as I mentioned, you can get 15% off 2 products, 20% off 3 products, 25% off 4 products, and if you buy 5 or more products, you get 35% off. You don't need a code, just use my link down here below from now until the end of, I believe it's Wednesday, September 9th. Go check them out. Thank you so much, Perfect Keto. I really appreciate it. Now, stock up on that whey protein and the collagen and the nut butters and the cookies. So also I need to give a huge thank you to my Patreon sponsors. Those are the true rock stars. I'm going to be listing them here on the screen. If you don't know what Patreon is, think of it as the tip jar for the internet. It allows people like you who enjoy what people like me do here on YouTube and give $1 or $2 a month just to sort of keep the train on the tracks, as it were. I also share some things over there that I can't really share on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Like for instance, this brand new kitchen. If you're new here, I mean, if you're a regular but haven't seen last video, I just moved, but I shared all this move with my rock stars, like I said over here, my Patreon sponsors. So thank you for them. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, I will see you guys very soon. Be sure to check me out on my Instagram and my Facebook account. I will see you very soon, and I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.